I've used red light almost every single day for over 2 years. Today I'm going to show you exactly how my hair changed during that time. We're going to dive deep into how it affected my hair growth speed, the thickness and fullness of my hair, the overall quality, and if it's done enough to be worth the cost. I'm also going to show you the results of what happened when I took a 6-week break from red light. So all that and so much more, let's jump right into it. So before we start this, I just want to say that I am not sponsored. This video is not paid for. This is purely my own opinions of my own experience that happened over the last 2 to 3 years. As a side note, the panels that I do use, I do have an affiliate code. Want to use it and want to help. All it does is basically funds me buying more silly things that I can then test out and see if they work. Same with subscribing. It really helps me to subscribe and just kind of lets me know that I should continue making these videos, because as I said, I just do this in my free time and try and work it in between work is sometimes a bit of a struggle. So yeah, if you do subscribe, and I really appreciate it. So let's start with the before and afters. Now this is me before I had ever used red light. It's over the years. Now I did have longer hair when I was younger, shaved it off about 10 years ago and just kind of thought I'd probably never have long hair again. And this is me after I got the red light and I started using it. Now these images here are taken at least 3 months after I started using red light, but to me personally, I can see a much thicker, fuller hair. And my hair quality from when I started to before has been, in my opinion, day and night. I would say that's probably the number one thing I've noticed is when I use red light consistently, there is a nourishment in my hair. It just looks a bit more full, it looks a bit more healthy. So let's start with the benefit that really shocked me and was really allowed me to kind of factually know that this was working and doing something for my hair. And it's a weird one. It was how quick I was getting my hair cut. Now I'm someone who personally avoids getting my hair cut. I don't really like it, but I still do it. And back then I used to get my hair cut every 8 weeks. I used to have like a buzz cut, just go into the barber and just be like, really shave it all off. It would then look awful for 2 weeks, and yeah, and then the process would look good for maybe like 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and then I'd go in and get it recut again, and the same thing would happen. When I started red light, my hair would grow so quick that I would have to go and get a barber cut every 3 to 4 weeks. So this then basically encouraged me to regrow my hair long again, because I couldn't keep up with going to the barber every 3 4 weeks, which I know is so small to most people. Most people get it done every week, but for me it was like, no, it's not possible. A side note to that is that I grew my hair long because it allowed me to get through that stubborn part of growing my hair long again in a much quicker time. Now when I look back at this and I actually look at the time and the frequencies, it halved the time I was getting my hair cut in, and it's continued to half it, which I find really fascinating. Like still after using it, I now genuinely have to get my hair cut in half the time. And I would also say it's cumulative. Like in the first few months it was maybe like 20% and 30%. The more you use it, the more quick your hair grows, and obviously your hair on your head is any hair you point this thing at will grow quicker. So next, what did it do to my actual hair quality? Now, the things that I noticed, and you probably saw some of them before and after, was it made my hair more dense, more thick, and more healthy looking. Like it just felt like my hair was a bit less brittle. It felt like it was stronger and a bit more sturdy. It also really added a lot of volume to it. Really, if I compare it, I kind of think I should have had healthier hair back then, because as I say, I was getting my hair buzz cut every, like say 8 weeks. So basically my hair was brand new all the time, which is kind of confusing that now my hair is obviously longer and it's like older. It actually looks better, and it looks better quality than it did when I was getting it cut and reset every 8 weeks. Just as a side note, it's quite good as well. I use this as a tool where when I have bad haircuts, it can kind of speed up that process of getting out of that bad bit. That first kind of like 2 weeks now turns into like a week or just a bit under. So yeah, that's just a side note. I just thought it was interesting. As I say, there isn't so much to go on with. You can kind of just look at hair and you can see from yourself. I might be biased, but in my own hair and how I kind of handle it every single day, it just feels like it's more nourished. And if I ever overwash my hair or use too much product, it bounces back a lot quicker when I'm using red light. So yeah, it's just something that I've noticed, and I'll go into that a bit more because I have just gone on basically a 6-week full red light break, and I've noticed a lot of things drop off and change. So yeah, we'll go into that in a second. But what does science say about this? Now, science says that if you use red light, you should expect to have an improvement of around 15 to 35% in your overall hair quality. And if I had to use my actual gut feeling and look at my hair quality, I would easily say that overall it improved by 35%. Now, I would say the growth rate has improved more than that. Like I would definitely notice on any hair that I point this at, whether it's facial hair, whether it's on my arms, anything, it's like it was going to grow it way quicker. And I would say in thickness and in actual overall quality, I would say for me personally, I would even say 35% feels a bit low. But if you actually think that most of the things you try probably won't even help a few percent, when you go from a 15 to a 35% jump, that is huge. So the next thing is, does it help with facial hair? Now, I kind of covered that then. It helps with any hair that's basically growing, in my opinion, in my experience, and in my research. There is a benefit to that and a negative. If you're somebody who shaves quite a lot, you're probably used to it. But if you're somebody who, say, shaves every like 2 or 3 days like me, when you use red light, you will then start having to shave every single day, or at least much quicker than you usually do. And as I say, it works for facial hair, it works for any hair you point this at. So if you're trying to grow a beard or something, it will definitely help it get much more fuller, quicker. Now, another question is, will this actually help stress-related hair loss? And from all the stuff that I've read and from what I've looked into is that it won't necessarily help stress-related hair loss, but what it will do is it will speed up your recovery after it. So if you're losing hair for any reason and it starts growing back, this will allow it to grow back. Now, if you've not got a hair follicle, if you've lost your hair because of like a genetic or for trauma or because of stress, it won't make it grow back. But if you've got hair that's growing and you put this on it, it will strengthen it up, it will speed it up, and it will make the hair more healthy. Now, another piggyback question onto that is, will this help people who have baldness because of hormones or because of their genetics? And again, no. Like, red light can only grow hair that's there to begin with. So if there's no hair to begin with, you're probably not going to have any results from using red light on it. But if there is hair to begin with, then this can help strengthen the hair you do have. It can help it grow quicker, and it can help the density and just help the overall health and quality of your hair. Another thing that I think people do ask is, are the effects the same for men and women? And across everything I've read and my own personal experience, yes, there is no difference. As I say, my partner has used it exactly the same way I have, and she's had the exact same benefits. Obviously, her hair's a little bit different, so it has different benefits. She's got longer hair, so the effects are going to be a tiny bit different. But as I say, all the things that I've noticed, she has also noticed too. So there is no difference between whether this is for a male or female. It might change depending on what red light device you use and the strength of it, your own personal hair genetics. So you might have a different experience than me, but as I say, it doesn't change whether you're a male or female. Now, what I wanted to touch on, which is probably the most interesting part of this video, is what happened when I stopped using red light. Now, I just conducted a test for 6 weeks where I just completely went cold turkey to see what would happen. And I really wanted to kind of like document the effects of starting again and like seeing the benefits. But something that was really crazy is I had a haircut booked in for about week 2 after stopping red light. And now we're at about week 7 and I'm just now having to start getting my hair cut. And it's just got to the point where I'm like, all right, I need to get a haircut. So immediately when I stopped, the hair growth rate stopped with it completely. Now, the cool news is the actual quality, the density, and how my hair feels has not changed at all. And I'm thinking that probably has something to do with the hair growth and how long your hair like lives. So I assume your hair growth for this will continue until that hair is completely gone and rechanged. So if you stop, it won't completely take away the quality, it won't take away all the results, but it does definitely stop the regrowth speed almost in its tracks immediately. Now let's go on to how I use red light. Now through this experiment, I used it for multiple years with panels and then with a red light blanket. And I just have a rule of thumb of about 10 minutes on the front side of my body and 10 minutes on the back a day. Try to get my hair here and there like fully and do like some little coverages just to test, but it was that simple. As I say, the real hair growth that I noticed and all the results were from just literally staring at the panel from like maybe 6 to 8 inches away, front and back. That brings me to my next question on, is the red light cap going to be the best way to treat your hair? Now, I personally have never used a red light cap. I really want to do a test with one in the future. But to be honest with you, I think get the red light that you can afford, you can use regularly and gives you the most. Like for me personally, the panels are better because you can treat your hair, but you can also treat your face. You can treat an injury. If you've got an injury on your leg or arm, you can treat anything with it. Whereas the hats, obviously, if you've only got enough to buy the hat, you can only treat your hair. However, if you're somebody who already has a red light panel and you just want the complete ease of being able to put a cap on and work, which is a lot easier than having a red light panel that you've got to kind of like look at and it just takes the light out of the room, then I would completely recommend a cap. Just make sure you get one from a reputable brand that like actually is red light. Literally my biggest advice always with red light, it's not about the device you necessarily buy, it's going to be if you use it and if it fits into your life. So if you buy something like a panel but you just stare at it and you're never going to use it, don't get one. But if it's the same with a hat, if you can wear a hat every single day and you do it every day and you want it just for your hair on your head, then why not get the hat? But for me personally, especially if you've got long hair, if you've got longer hair than mine, a panel makes more sense because obviously you can do your whole hair. You don't just want to do the roots, you want to do the whole thing. So for me, I would always say that go with a panel or go with something that basically offers a bit more coverage. I also want to say, and this should be a complete warning, that you can overdo red light and it has complete mitigating benefits. So do not do too much of red light. Usually the upper limit is about 20 minutes a day. I personally do 10 minutes on front, 10 minutes on back every single day, but a lot of people find better results with doing the same kind of thing, but having days off in between. You've really got to listen to your body, but do not do more than what is recommended because it will probably cause more harm to your hair than good. And it also has horrible effects on your body. It just kind of makes you feel like you've had too much sun, you feel sluggish, you feel lethargic. It's just not good. So don't do it. That's from someone who has done it a few times by accident. And I would also just say that if you are suffering with hair loss or you're suffering with something like that, these things are amazing, but they're not the cure to hair loss, and they're not going to help you if you've got like a genetic or you've got an over DHT hormone or whatever it is, and you should go and maybe speak to a specialist and actually look at your options, because there is definitely options for people. And I wouldn't want someone to be like, oh, I'm going to go and buy this red light because it's going to cure my hair loss, when in reality it will help your hair and it helps the quality of your hair, and it's probably going to increase all the metrics of the hair you've got, but it isn't going to make hair magically appear. It isn't going to beat out your hormones, or it isn't going to beat out your genetics, annoyingly, and I wish it did, but that is just the case. Yeah, I would hate for someone to spend their money and be like, oh, this isn't what I wanted from it. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, then please leave a like and subscribe. I just do this in my free time, try and get everything edited and out, and it really appreciate any like or any subscription or any advice you have on what videos you'd like to see in the future. Yeah, so make sure you leave that in the comments, and yeah, have an awesome day and see you later. Bye.